Meanwhile, let's also tell you the details of day 26 of the war, and it's not looking good despite this apparently being the pause button being hit by President Trump. There have been bombings which continue, and once again Donald Trump has claimed that US has won the war. In fact, he said that regime change objective has also been achieved, as many of Iran's senior leaders have been killed and military capability have been completely destroyed. Obliterated are the words that he has been using. In fact, he's further added that negotiations to end the war are happening and that the leaders are speaking to want to make a deal badly, he says. Trump did not stop there. He said that Iran has also presented a gift to United States, a gift of oil and gas, and then a final bombshell claim that Iran has caved in to his demands and agreed to no nuclear weapons. In fact, listen in to what all President Trump has claimed.
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you know, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone. You're talking about to end it? Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. You know, I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like we're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country. They can't do a thing about it. But the Navy was wiped out. If you read the news, you don't hear this. You know, you read like, oh, they're doing wonderfully. They're doing terribly. They're wiped out. Militarily, they are dead.
Militarily, they are dead. That's what President Trump has said. But what has Iran said? Do they agree that they are militarily dead? Absolutely not. Iran has in fact turned around and has mocked the claims of President Trump, saying that talks have been happening. Iran has said that US is negotiating with itself, that Trump is negotiating with himself. That Tehran has rejected that there was any kind of a narrative of talks which has been built by President Trump. In fact, it says that Iran's military is what they say is going to be their power. Trump claims that there has been a deal, and Iran denies that there is a 15-point US plan which is under the cloud. In fact, they say that US is negotiating with itself, is what a military spokesperson has said, as per the state media, a day after President Trump said that he is set to make a deal to end the war on Iran. We were telling you what US's ask is of Iran. But on the other hand, you have Iran coming out and saying that there is no way that they are even having discussions and talks with. So who exactly is President Trump and his team, his administration, really negotiating with? Well, we are not quite sure for that. Let me go across to Colonel R.S.N. Singh, who's joining us, an author. R.S.N. Singh, what do you make of this two sides of the same coin, of the same talks and treaty coin that we have? Trump says they're all finished, they're happy to make a deal, they're giving us gifts. On the other hand, Iran's asking, whom did you speak to? Whom do you believe?
Some back channel talks are definitely on. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And my suspicion is that there has been split in the ranks of the IRGC, and one faction may be in talks with the United States of America. And that is what I guess. So something is happening because there cannot be smoke without fire.
Right.
And in such circumstances, back channel diplomacy is always invariably it takes place. Remember, Kargil conflict. All through the Kargil conflict, there were, back channel talks going on between R.K. Mishra, who was the chairman of later the chairman of the ORF, and Niaz Max. They had 12 rounds of talks. definitely something is going on, and I suspect that there had to be split in the IRGs. So one faction may be in touch with them.
It could be a factional thing also, because RSN Singh, there are those reports which are coming in that US wants the Iranian speaker to take over. There are those who are saying that it is going to be Ayatollah's son, Mujtaba, who must be the successor. There's, of course, Israel to also weigh in. We'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. Will Israel actually play ball when it comes to peace is the question. Thank you so much for joining us, RSN Singh. Let me go across to Mayank, who's joining us live from the war zone in Tel Aviv. I hope, Mayank, you are safe. Every day we begin the broadcast by asking you about your safety, because unfortunately you're in one of the hottest war zones. Even as we speak, these strikes which have been happening have been destroying any semblance of a possible pause in the war. What's happening on the ground?
It's quite unpredictable. Statements say something else and the ground realities are something else. And starting in the night also, there was a cluster of ammunition used. And there were streaks of lights in the night because it was dark. So you can see the flashes of explosions and all which was taking place in the air. So that is the dichotomy. Otherwise, on the other side, operations against the Hezbollah is also continuing, and that is relentlessly continuing. Aircrafts are being used and all. And over Tel Aviv also, we see lots of surveillance aircrafts also. At time to time, they keep flying around. And as far as statements, when they say that there's a ceasefire or a calm, it doesn't seem to be exact reality on the ground. So I don't know. The point is, let's see what happens. At least for another 5 days, we have to keep watching. But things on ground, as I see, is something different from what the statements are saying. Yesterday, we took our viewers to a place, and there was a major, huge missile which had fallen in the area.
Residential area,
yes. Large number of people were there. It was a large number of people there, and it was a major destruction in that side. And yesterday, first time, we saw such a huge presence of uniformed forces, and which included all three kinds of forces here. And just to brief the viewers, which is armed forces, IDF, paramilitary forces, the bomb disposal units were there, the police forces, everyone was there. So that was very, different from what we had been observing in the other cases. So the ground reality is something different. But then there's a eerie calm that I have to describe, because there was a rain which has just stopped, and there's a quiet which doesn't seem to be matching with the things which had been on the ground since last few days.
Okay, so there is an eerie calm on the ground when it comes to Tel Aviv. Mayank tells us that last night as well, there were cluster bombs which were rained. In the morning, there were missiles which had struck. Today, there is an eerie calm. We at least hope that there is some semblance of calm which remains.